I've been using an arcade stick to play fighting games for over a year now, and I was always curious about the infamous Leverless controller, but not enough to drop 200 plus on first party models. Recently though, several companies have created more affordable options, and one of them is Fightbox. They offer several Leverless style controllers on their site, and reached out to give me an opportunity to try out my first controller and share my experience. So thanks to Fightbox for hooking me up. I chose their new F10 Pico Plus as it looked like a complete package. A controller with an expanded layout, sound buttons, and a Raspberry Pi Pico board. I wanted a more hitboxy design as opposed to a flat box type controller, so I could stick to the arcade style sound buttons that I'm used to in my Mayflash F500, while also having the option to switch them out later if I feel like something different. The F10 achieves this and still keeps a relatively compact profile. The pins on the buttons are even bent to fit it all in the case. The build quality is respectable and simple. 24mm sound buttons in a metal shell with an acrylic top that allows for custom artwork. I play my games on PC, so the button layout felt familiar and even more comfortable than keyboard due to the wider spacing of the buttons. For artwork, you could do it yourself by printing some art to go underneath a clear panel, but they also offer artwork to be printed on acrylic for an extra $10. Here's one I got from an image I sent them. The colours came out a bit off, which may have been due to the colour settings on my part, but they showcase a lot of nice designs on their site if you want inspiration. To swap the panel, you have to remove the feet and push out the front panel pins from the inside. My screwdriver was too thick, so I had to use an Allen key. You'll also have to remove every single button, but the saving grace is not having to worry too much about where they go back in due to the GP 2040 Community Edition firmware on the board. Hold start when plugging in the controller and you'll be in configuration mode. Connect to this web page in your browser and you can easily remap each button. There's a lot more you can do with it, and I'll share the layouts I tried in the games I play. In Tekken, I tried mapping directions to the extra buttons. You can do so by turning on the dual directional input add-on in the configurator. The setup is directional keys assigned to the left stick, and the extra keys are set to D-pad left and right. With this setup, you can make movement and electrics much more consistent, as the right hand can help with inputs, similar to a cross-up. For electrics, you just press forward and hold down with your left hand. With your right hand, you press 2 and forward simultaneously. It's crazy how easy this is. Wave dashes, you can stick to quarter circle motions on your left hand, and tap forward with your right hand. Korean backdash, you can easily SOCD cancel with back down back, just releasing down in your left hand, then tapping forward with your right hand to get a neutral input, then just alternating between down and forward at the correct rhythm. Even with these easier methods of performing mechanics, gameplay overall felt quite hard to what I'm used to with stick. Movement has a bit more depth in Tekken, and to get to a level where I feel I can move as fluid as I did on the stick would take quite a while. Playing Tekken on Leverless will definitely be a fun challenge in the future though. I had an easier time adapting to Street Fighter with the F10. I spent most of my time playing with the Season 2 update that I just dropped. When learning a new controller, it's usually a good idea to try a new character to save yourself the frustration of being significantly worse with your main. I played Chun-Li, but took the opportunity with the update to learn some Akuma at the same time. I had the buttons assigned like this, with the additional buttons being left stick, right stick, and options. With the buttons being 24mm as opposed to 30mm like I'm used to, it was a bit more awkward to throw with light punch like it, so I put it on one button. I used my left thumb for jump, and my right thumb for parry. I didn't find much use for the left stick button, but I could see it being useful as a drive impact or 3 times assistance button. Once again, with a new controller, it does feel like learning how to play the game again. The hardest thing for me is anti-airing with DP consistently. Having to put extra brain power to your anti-airs really makes the rest of your game plan crumble. I spent the first few days just grinding out motion inputs, combo trials, and jumping around. Sooner than I thought though, things began to click, and I would even hit some decent combos in game. I think I would feel much more comfortable playing Street Fighter on Leverless than Tekken long term. Getting off quick motion inputs feels good. I even found myself hitting Tiger knee motions more often than I do on stick. Having the jump button on the bottom helps separate the two parts of the motion in my head. All of that on top of the many shortcuts that can help simplify things. For example, you can form a DP by holding down and tapping forward twice, or holding forward then tapping down twice. I tried not to overwhelm myself with shortcuts, and mostly did motion inputs the normal way, but the shortcut rabbit hole is another advantage Leverless has over other controllers. One of the main issues new Leverless players will mention is the lack of dexterity when using their controller. If you don't use your hands for similar things, such as playing an instrument like the piano or guitar, it's very likely you'll struggle with being as fast as you wanted inputs, especially with your ring fingers. In my case, playing rhythm games helped quite a lot with getting stronger on the controller, especially for my left hand, along with forcing myself to use my left thumb for jump so I can keep my right thumb on parry in Street Fighter. This is Quaver, and it's free on Steam, but I'm sure there are many other games out there to have fun with. Cool little additional point, the game wouldn't accept the D-pad controls as valid inputs, but thanks to the firmware, I was able to set up the controller to be recognized as a keyboard, and it worked flawlessly. I'm very pleased with the Fightbox F10 Pico. It's pretty much how I'd want a controller if I was building it myself and didn't want any compromise. It won't be a complete switch. I still love my arcade stick. It is nice to have another controller in my arsenal if I want to switch things up though. With my short time using Leverless for fighting games, I can already see how powerful this input method can be. However, time and effort will be needed to unlock its full potential.